Hello, everybody. I'm Mike DelPrete, your host of the AZREIA show, the Launchpad Edition. Today, we're going to discuss how to buy your first rental in 7 quick steps. So, step 1, do your homework. You got to ask yourself a few questions to get to know what type of investor you are. What are your risk levels? What are you comfortable with? And it just so happens, recently, the stock market dipped. When the stock market dips, we really don't care because with the real estate investing, we have a brick and mortar asset. All right, we can drive by and see it. We want cash flow. All right, so we're not worried about the appreciation going up or down. So the first question: what kind of property do you want to buy? We can buy single families. We can buy condos, multifamily, mobile homes. There's a lot of options. Once you kind of know what property you want, where do you want the property? What neighborhood do you want it? Do you want it local here in Phoenix? Do you want to be out of state? We have a lot of options. I ask myself, who do I want to serve, right? What type of person are you used to working with? Me, I'm from middle of the road neighborhood. So that's who I know and that's who I understand, and I don't mind serving them. So I break down into 3 different categories. So if you're looking at Nordstrom's, Target, and Walmart, right? They all sell shoes, just different quality, different pricing, right? I like to be in Target neighborhoods. So that's kind of a way you can look at what neighborhood you want to be in and who you'd like to serve. Another question is, do you want to deal with tenants personally? Do you want to collect rents? Do you want to handle issues, problems all by yourself? If you're okay with that, go for it. If not, you could always hire a property manager. And if you were to hire a property manager, they're usually about 7 to 10% of your gross rents. When looking for a property, how much repairs do you want to take on? Are you handy? Do you have the resources? Do you have the money, the know-how how to bring the property up to the right condition? Do you have friends, family that can help you out? It's totally up to you. If you're looking for your first rental property, you probably want to go with something with less work. Maybe that you may have heard TLC, maybe cosmetic repairs, a light paint, carpet, very little investment upfront to get it going. But if you have the resources and you want to do more work, totally can. Just make sure you get the right person to help you, whether it's an inspector, general licensed contractor, to go in there and give you a good estimate of the condition of the property. And also, when you do buy properties that need more work, you probably get a little better purchase price during your acquisition. So the next question you want to ask yourself is, what type of ROI do you want? Return on investment. There's a lot of different ways to calculate your return on investment. Investors use cap rates, they use cash on cash returns, rule of 72, the 1% rule. There's so much to kind of work with to see what type of return on investment you would like. We're just going to keep it really simple today and just use one basic formula to make you understand. And that's gross rents. Gross rents is what the tenant pays you every month. So if it's $1,000, that's your gross rent. Then you minus expenses. So vacancy, repairs, taxes, insurance, water, you name it, landscaping. You're going to deduct all those expenses from your gross rents. And that will give you your NOI, your net operating income. Now, if you paid all cash, you usually stop there. Now, most likely, if you're leveraging and you're using a bank loan or different types of financing, you would then, from the NOI, so if you have $1,000 rents, let's just say $300 in expenses, you're at $700 NOI. So now you're going to minus your mortgage payment or your debt servicing. So let's say that's $500. So now you're at $200 cash flow. So that's your return on investment. And we can go further in how to calculate cap rates, but we'll definitely do that on another episode. So are you comfortable with running this property for $200 profit every month? That's where you're going to want to start. Step 2, you want to create your exact criteria. What we're going to do here is you're going to build your investor identity. Who are you, and what are you comfortable with? So you already picked out the neighborhoods that you want to invest in and buy your properties. So now when you create an exact criteria of what you like to buy, it makes everything easier. You know your numbers, you know your standards. Okay, so when you're telling real estate agents, wholesalers, or you're marketing for your own properties, this is going to help you attract what you're looking for. Okay, and to really help you make a decision If it doesn't meet your requirements, such as single family, let's say 3-bedroom, 2-bath, I don't want a pool, 1-story, 1,000 square feet or more. I want a carport, a 2-car garage in these specific zip codes. When you put that criteria out there, people will bring you in those deals. And if the deals you analyze don't match that criteria, you could just pass on them. Okay. Another great thing about having your investor identity is you know what you're comfortable with. You want your $200 per month cash flow. You know exactly where you want your properties. From experience, I've noticed when investors go outside of their criteria and outside of their numbers, that's when problems can happen. Number 3, where's the money? How are you going to buy this property? First option, cash, right? Maybe you have savings, inheritance, friends, family. Maybe you can borrow the money and get a cash lump sum to purchase the property. Like we spoke of earlier, you can get a bank loan, conventional or FHA. Maybe if you currently already have a house you live in, you can get a HELOC. You can use this cash to purchase the property as well. There's hard money lenders out there. Okay, that's more of a aggressive loan. It's more shorter term. I don't recommend it for a long-term buy and hold. However, you could always get it to acquire the property and then refinance out of it. There's also what we call private money. That kind of goes into friends and family. Maybe someone has an IRA, 401k, or savings you can use. Owner financing. Owner financing is when the seller of the property, maybe they have a loan on the property, what we would call subject to, or they own the property free and clear, and they can be the bank for you. We call that owner financing. All right, so they would pretty much just act as the bank. It would be between you and the seller of the property. And then there's joint ventures. That's how I bought my first property. My first property was on Central and Camelback, and it was a small little cheap house, but I had no idea how I was going to buy it. So I told an investor friend about it, and he gladly paid for the property because we bought it at the right price. He renovated it, and then he refinanced out of it, and he kept me as a partner. Still own it to this day. It's been about 7 years. So that was just from a good relationship and a joint venture project. Step 4, it's time to start shopping and find the property that you want to buy. We talked about where you want to buy the property. What type of investor are you? What are you comfortable with? What kind of properties do you like? Where you're going to get the money to purchase the property. So now let's go and find it. Where can you find the property that you want to buy? Who can help you? MLS, real estate agents, as always, right? Let them know your criteria. They'll open up MLS for you, and they'll start looking. And they'll start sending you over properties to make offers on. Wholesalers, they buy properties at a discount, and they sell properties at a discount. They put in the work to find motivated sellers that may be in a distressed situation, and they'll get that property under contract, and they'll assign it to you for a fee. All right, so you can find the property yourself. For sale by owner signs, right? Drive up and down the neighborhood that you like. Call the for sale by owners. You could find for sale by owners online, Craigslist. There's plenty of places you could find the property yourself. I've bought properties off the AZREIA member list. AZREIA has a list of discounted deals that other investors send out. You can buy and call those members and see what properties they have for sale. And what I always like to do, and I still do to this day, is driving for dollars. I just drive up and down neighborhoods. I look for vacant and distressed houses, and I contact the owner. So if it's a vacant house, has mail piled up, car with 4 flat tires, looks like no one's living there, I'll put a note on the door. I'll do some back-end research, and I'll try to contact the owner and make an offer on the property. And also direct mail. You can buy from your title company. You actually can get free information. You get free lead lists to mail out, direct mail to certain types of campaigns. All right. So number 5, you're going to want to analyze the deal and make an offer on the property. So how do you go about this? So let's say you have a property, the seller's asking $150,000. So you're going to want to do your research. You are going to want to comp out the property just to kind of see if you're getting a good price. It doesn't always matter on the purchase price because we're always looking for the cash flow, but you don't want to overpay if you don't have to. you want to comp it out. So, and you also want to comp out the rents. So once again, you're going to go back to your realtor to check out the rents in the area, and you're also going to check out Rent-O-Meter and all the other online resources. All right, number 5, you want to analyze the deal and make an offer. All right, so you find the property, the seller wants $150,000. Comp out the property and see if it's a good deal. See if you don't want to overpay for the property on some inflated price. But ultimately, we're always looking for the cash flow. Remember, the gross minus expenses equals NOI minus debt service. So if we want to get down to that cash flow number, will you meet your goal? So that's what really counts. So you comp out the property for the value. You comp out the property for the rents. Okay. So once you get the rental comp, you already have your lender in place, or you know how much, if you're paying cash or what your financing is, and you run the formula. Does it meet your cash flow number? Okay. If it doesn't, you pretty much just adjust your offer price. So if the seller's offering $150, you just go lower until you meet, the numbers work out and you meet your cash flow number. So when you lower your offer, right, that will lower your mortgage amount, okay, which will make your mortgage payment less expensive. And this will help you reach your cash flow number. So now you have your offer out to the seller and they accept it. What needs to be in the agreement? You're going to want to have a title company. You're going to want to have a closing date. You're going to want to have a purchase price, earnest money deposit, inspection period. You want to let them know how you'll be financing the property and who's paying the closing costs. Step 6, your offer is now accepted, and this is your due diligence time. This is the most important time you have. This is where you do all your research. Now, when you ask for an inspection period, usually custom, it could be anything really, but on a normal AAR contract here in Arizona, it's 10 days, okay? You should be able to learn everything about a single family house or a small multifamily within that time frame. Ask the seller everything you can about the property. Get a whole big picture, have them paint the picture of what's going on. Have they done any updates? Have they done any repairs? What does the property need? And take it for a grain of salt. Don't always listen, take what they say and research it, but sometimes sellers don't always tell you everything. So that's why you need, in your inspection period, to hire an inspector. Okay, there's home inspectors out there that will come in and go through that property with a fine-tooth comb, and they'll put out this big report with all these red marks and everything you need to look into and that you should be aware of. In addition to an inspector, you could also use a licensed general contractor. You could hire them to come out and inspect the property as well. Between them two, you should have a really good idea of the condition of the property. Now, if it doesn't meet your standards or it's too much for you to handle, you can move on. All right. You can do all that during the inspection period. Or you can use it as a negotiation tool. Maybe some things need to be fixed and they can lower the price for you. Or maybe you could request that the seller fixes those items for you. I also mentioned earnest money deposit. Okay. Usually it's $1,000 or $500. Just it's really up between you and the seller. If you're dealing with agents, they like to start at $1,000. That money is refundable during your 10-day inspection or whatever inspection you guys come to agreement on. So that's always refundable to you. Once you pass the 10 days, if you don't get an extension and you do not purchase the property, that $1,000 can go to the seller. Step 7, congratulations. You're now a landlord. You own the property. Now what you want to do is all the repairs that you found, you want to get the property up and running and in good condition for your next tenant and get out there and start marketing the property. All right, that was it. 7 quick and easy steps to get your first rental property. All I can say is don't overthink it. Don't get analysis paralysis. You got to take action. You got to get out there and make offers. That's the most important high income producing activity you can do in real estate is make offers. Analyze deals and make offers. And also go to AZREIA.org, okay? There's so many resources that you have to help you along this process. I know we just went over the overarching, just basic steps that you can take, but we can go on for hours and days and pages of all the details on how to buy a property and all the different ways to do it. But you have other members out there, you have professionals out there that are here to help and answer your questions. So definitely reach out to AZREIA and take advantage of your membership. Thank you and see you next time.